Hello, everyone. We are here on the next episode here with Jack Lander. He's 20 years old. He made plus 45 deals last year. He's a keen into direct to seller, direct to agent. He made a ton of deals next last year, and he's trying to do 100 deal this year. So, welcome here, Jake. Thank you for your time and how you can show the people that this is possible, and more like with creative finance you can do a ton of money more on this market right now.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for having me. Excited to dive in and talk more about wholesaling and creative finance and all that stuff in general.
Amazing. So do you want to talk a little bit about yourself, where you are located right now, how old are you, a
Yeah,
little bit of your transaction experience, and we go from there.
yeah, definitely. So I'm 23. I'm located currently in Southern California in Huntington Beach specifically. I've been wholesaling for about a year and a half. I got started primarily doing cash deals in Texas. That was our main market of choice. I met my mentor on Bigger Pockets. I worked with him for quite some time, learned a ton of things, and then kind of started doing my own thing, helping out some other people, closing some PPC leads, and doing some direct to seller in that nature. Then, just about 4 or 5 months ago, I met my new partner, Alex Munoz, that I work with currently, and we started a kind of a team model where we have a lot of people who are cold calling for us, doing acquisitions, and primarily started that doing direct to agent outreach, and kind of been scaling from there. And now we've pivoted into doing about, instead of DTA being about 90% of our business model, now it's about 30%. And now we're doing a lot of direct to seller, trying to get some of those larger assignment fees on those cash deals.
Okay, and you talk about like you are mainly on the Texas market, right?
Right now we're nationwide. I mainly started in the Texas market. I would say though a lot of our deals now, probably the majority, just happen to be in Texas. But I mean, I wouldn't say we're doing any more marketing in Texas than we are in Arizona, Florida, Oklahoma, other states as well.
Okay, nice. And what's your typical deal looks like? Like pre-foreclosures or tired landlords? What's the main marketing that you're doing right now?
Yeah, so in terms of the direct to seller stuff, a lot of it is going to be tired landlords. That seems what we're dealing with mostly. The agency we're working with, we're pulling a lot of different lists when it comes to the direct to seller stuff. So a lot of it's tired landlord, probate, water shut off, expired listings, things like that. It's kind of a combination of lists, and then we're stacking those lists. With the DTA stuff that we do, we're pulling, of course, on market low equity listings and reaching out to them, pitching over, taking over the existing payments.
So that means sub two. Do you want to talk a little bit about what is sub two for the people that they don't know too much about it, and
Yeah,
how you can make a deal like there is no equity for people that they don't understand what is no equity? It's like the
yeah,
property value is the same as the market value, so
yeah.
there is no way to sell it. Do you want to explain a little bit about that?
Totally, totally. And even sometimes the property value is a little more than the market value, but you're
Yeah.
still going to be taking a loss and writing a check at closing. Because when you're selling your home traditionally, you're usually looking at about 10% of that purchase price is coming off the top. So, meaning if you're listing your property for what the remaining mortgage balance is on it, you're going to probably be losing another 10% from that with closing costs, agent commissions, holding costs, things like that. So, what sub two is essentially, there's an existing mortgage in place on a property. Me as an investor or buyer comes in and takes over that existing mortgage that's in place. We take over the existing payments. It's not an assumption. So I'm not assuming the loan with my credit, qualifying for that loan, letting the lender know that, hey, I need to take over payments and take the loan under my name and my personal credit. Sub two is keeping that existing debt in place. The deed or title transfers to my name, and I simply just take over payments on that original debt that's associated with the seller. So sub two is super advantageous because, just like Augustine was saying, there could be something that is not quite negative equity, but pretty close to negative equity. So if someone's trying to sell that property and they don't have any money and it's sitting on market and they're losing $10,000 anyway if it sells at their ask price, if it's not selling there, they know they need a price drop. Now they're like, maybe I have to write a $20,000 check at closing. So someone like me could call that real estate agent, let that real estate agent know that, hey, I have a solution. I can actually put $2,000 in your seller's pocket and pay your commission simply if they let me take over their payments. So we've done quite a bit of deals like that, subject to where we're simply just taking over the original payments or the original debt that the previous seller had.
Amazing. Do you want to share with us an example of a deal that you have like that?
Yeah, totally. So in terms of sorry, I don't know. We're not doing any screen share or anything on my end, right? Just I'm assuming no. I don't know.
No.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so with that, a more recent one that we did that I'm trying to think of was there was one in Surprise, Arizona. We um we actually sold that one to a sub two member. Then there was another one we sold to Pace that like a week after in Santan Valley in Arizona. Both of those were on market. And as you can imagine, a lot of people do this. So these agents get a lot of calls every single week from other people pitching the same thing. The thing that it mainly comes down to is how professional and legitimate do you sound? Are you sounding good on the phone? Does your paperwork look solid? Is there trust and rapport built there with you and the agent? Because the agent's kind of the middleman with the seller. And both of these agents that I dealt with, they really liked how I presented myself. I hopped on Zoom calls with them to describe everything and kind of strategize the game plan for the seller as well and really go over everything. And one of these deals, it was, as you know, the Phoenix metro area is one of the hottest markets in the country. So much saturation. And this agent also had VA loan 2.5% interest rate assumable in the description. So everyone's going to see that and call it and pitch sub two. So with that deal there, it was pulled from um, we use PropStream and then we use one of Myron Bailey's tools. I forgot what it's called, but it's like a skimmer that really simplifies and narrows down your lists you pull, which has been super good for our low equity data. So we were using that. We had one of our callers on our team reach out to that agent, and then I'm more of the closer. So then I followed up with that agent, had about probably a lot of phone calls, like 20 to 30 phone calls in a 2 or 3 day
Yeah.
span with her, the seller's parents, and then we were able to get that one locked up. And then we assigned it to a member in sub two for I think like a $7,000 assignment, and there was that. So that's kind of the typical process of what we do. Some of them we keep. Most of them we try to assign, though. It really just depends on the deal. But yeah, that was a nice one that was recent last month in Surprise, which is in the Phoenix metro area in
Yeah,
Arizona.
amazing. I'm super familiar with the area. I'm not doing deals right now in Phoenix just because I'm focusing on my main market is Texas, like DFW, San Antonio. San Antonio is my best market so far. Like my fat checks came from San Antonio. September last year we closed a deal 96,000 cash deal. We are about to close right now one of 55,000 and assign a few more for like 25,000 as well.
Wow.
So yeah, you talk about that you are buying right now. Where are you buying and what's your criteria?
Yeah. So honestly, it depends. A lot of this stuff just falls on our lap. Like there's some deals we're working on. We just assigned a duplex in Louisiana a couple days ago that was brought to us from a JV partner, seller finance. Um, Now we have another one, another couple. None of them are in escrow yet that we've sent offers out on. We have verbal yeses from the sellers. I think we'll probably end up keeping one of those. Then last month in December, we closed on a portfolio of 10 in Lubbock, Texas, sort of like a sub two slash assumption. Basically, the lender knew what we were doing. He was a small hard money guy. He was on board with us just taking over payments and not really having to qualify for the loans. So we took over 10 last month, and then we also bought another one last month too that we plan on flipping, also in Lubbock. So it really just depends. And I've bought some in Oklahoma City before, straight sub twos to keep as rentals and wrap.
Shit, you have a how many houses do you have right now?
Well, that was kind of our main thing. We have 14 or 13,
14 houses.
but I don't, not all those are going to be doors that we're keeping. Most of those came from that portfolio. I think we'll probably keep maybe 3 of those from that portfolio as long-term rentals, and then we'll keep a handful as owner finance, seller finance scenarios where we
Right.
wrap them.
Yeah.
And then the other handful, I think will flip or yeah, there's a couple we'll take a loss on that portfolio of 10. It is what it is. Small losses, but then there's also others that are free rental properties when we DSCR out. And then there's spreads on the flips of like 30, 40, 50 grand.
And how are you managing? Because I came to this problem like last year, mid last year, when I was wholesaling a lot, and at the same time I was trying to buy, and
Yeah.
like my time was all over the places. Like I couldn't concentrate on my business, wholesaling, or and we are not there in the places. Like when we say people, I have an Airbnb in Washington D.C.
Yeah.
Like I never saw the house.
Yeah.
How are you managing that time, and do you have boots on the ground, or what do you recommend to people?
I'm in the same boat as you. We haven't fully dialed that in yet. We were gonna drive out to Lubbock, Texas, literally this morning, but I was talking to my partner. It would be a 48-hour trip, and we'd spend about 30 hours driving because we were just gonna go for one night, walk the properties, and leave. And I'm like, I have work stuff to do. So does he. We'll just have some local guy that we know, boots on the ground, do a very really long, good, thorough video walkthroughs of each property. So we bought those sight unseen. We just had a couple pictures of each house. So it really just depends. That's what's tricky. I don't want to touch my local market. I don't really like the Southern California market. One, it's expensive. Two, it's not really landlord friendly out here. So we're targeting more Midwest stuff. And like you said, just trying to team up with people we know out there and find trustworthy, reliable boots on the ground, handymen, potential property managers, things like that.
Amazing. Yeah, like I have with a few problems with contractors as well. So if you are not there, you have to be really cautious about your
Yeah.
contractors. Another thing that I would like to say you, like we are here, be aware of sub two people as well. I got scammed 35 grand from a contractor in sub two.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And he's still in sub two. He's still there in sub two. That's annoying. See someone that he's on the same community as you, and you
Yeah.
trust him. It's going to be a really good deal, and we write a check to sell it because he never showed to the house. So
Wow.
that's why I was asking how are you going to do your flips and everything, because contractors can be super tough to deal with.
Yeah, I've heard some horror stories, man, and I'm hoping we don't run into anything like that. We are vetting them, but of course, at the same time, you can only do so much and just
Yeah, you
kind of
have to be
hope.
prepared. You have
Yeah,
to be prepared for
yeah,
the things that it can happen. So, but yeah, what about like right now with you told me that you have 9 cold colors, right?
yeah. 9 full-time VAs right now.
Okay. For people that they don't know what is a VA or a cold caller, what they do.
Yeah, so a VA is a virtual assistant. That's someone who's typically they're going to be overseas. At least most people out here in the states who are doing the wholesaling and marketing. To hire someone in the states, you're typically spending 12 plus dollars an hour, 15 plus an hour. Um, so there's a lot of people overseas that, we used to have virtual assistants in the Philippines where they would be $3 or $4 an hour. So it's saving people in the States a lot of money, but at the same time for the other countries, that's still a great wage. So you have people that are really into real estate, have a lot of experience and skill, and are really happy with the pay and bonuses we offer, that they will love a job like that for that sort of wage. Whereas out here in the States, we're having to pay what we could get for 3 or 4 virtual assistants for, we would only be able to hire one out here in the States. So basically that virtual assistant's job, some of them do admin work, but mainly right now for us is they're going to be ripping through a bunch of lists that we pull, um, which consists of a bunch of different data. Those virtual assistants are going to be triple dialing, 5x dialing, however many lines they're dialing at one time. They're just going to be cold calling all these numbers, trying to make contact with homeowners. And then once they make contact with the homeowner, they're being appointment set or filtered into our CRM. And either myself or one of our guys on our team are going to be following up with them and trying to close them.
Got it.
Yeah.
Um, For how long have you been doing the cold calling stuff?
Well, I've been in wholesaling for about a year and a half. I started out doing the cold calling, managing a couple of VAs that were on our team. Then, like I said, I kind of pivoted to some other teams doing some PPC stuff, and then doing sort of my own thing. And now, me and my partner, we're really trying to build out a pretty big team and scale. So we just hired these 9 VAs about 3 weeks ago, which was kind of the worst
Oh,
time of the
okay.
year. It was the worst time of the year because the holidays. So it was a slow start, but this month so far has been pretty hot.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How many deals did you expect with these nine?
How many deals or
Yeah,
leads? Honestly, I would assume, like, me and my partner have talked about it. I think worst case scenario is one deal per every two VAs a month. I think that's absolute worst case scenario.
super
Um,
worst case.
yeah. So I'm thinking we're getting one deal a month for each VA, ideally. So that should be 9 deals a month right there. Hopefully. And then we still have our team. We run Zooms multiple times a week with newer people that we're just helping out. Like we usually have like anywhere from 35 to 50 people on our Zooms, just going over underwriting, closing, answering questions, live cold calls, things like that. So we have a lot of people on our team that bring us leads as well. So I'm hoping with the combination of the pipeline of these VAs building out, and then also our team model we have, that we should be doing 10 deals a month pretty consistently here in mid Q1.
Amazing. So you run Zooms for the sub two people or your own community?
For pretty much our own community, pretty much for anyone. So we do a lot of networking on different platforms and also in different Facebook groups. And it originally started with me about 5 months ago, helping a couple people out. They were just doing some calls for me for DTA, and then I realized, hey, we could help a lot more people out and build a bigger model out of this. And then we really started just reaching out to anyone that we saw needed help, and we've scaled a pretty large team out of it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Sorry about that.
No worries.
So yeah, that's amazing because you are helping other people and at the same time you are closing deals so far.
Yeah,
Right now I'm s- I'm I'm doing that right now. I'm doing my own community with Hispanic people as well, trying to help
nice.
them out. Because Hispanic people, it's like they don't know what is creative finance, and it's the best way to buy a deal or do a wholesale deal if you're Hispanic because you don't need to be there. And if you are living here in, I don't know, I'm living right now in Argentina, you
Uh-huh.
can live like a king for like 1,500, 2,000 a month. Like,
Yeah,
imagine living with that in California. You barely can eat.
yeah, yeah.
And here you are going to the best restaurants every single day. So I met a lady that she connected me by Instagram, and in 4 months working together, like I'm helping. I set up all the CRM that I have go high level. I do texting
Nice.
mostly, and we are about to close a deal of 50K assignment fee in Fort Worth, and we close an amazing deal in San Antonio that she brings 11,000. So when you help other people or you communicate and you show what you can do, basically it's the business are coming to you and you're not searching for it. That's
Yeah,
really good.
yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, what other what's your goal right now with the rental stuff?
Yeah. So honestly, the goal for kind of just everything is, ideally, my partner and I want to make at least 300K each this year, 2024. I think that's like worst case scenario on the lower end. Um, Hopefully more closer to like a mil of rev for the company, or I should say net. And we'd like to get at least 50 doors by the end of the year, hopefully. It really just depends, because a lot of this stuff we could have a portfolio fall on our lap, like this last one in December. We could have more focus on multifamily, which we haven't been doing yet, which we definitely want to dive into. But mainly it's just scaling the wholesaling operation to doing at least 10 deals a month consistently. And then also picking off a couple of these deals, keeping them ourselves every month, and then bringing in, of course, private money And that's like one thing you said, kind of the bigger you get, the more networking you do, the more recognition you get, the easier it is to get funding on deals. People trust you if there's credibility there. So as we grow, we're expecting more relationships from private money partners and lenders who are willing to come in and fund our deals.
And right now, how are you funding your deals? Your own money or you're using private?
Own money and then partners on some previous ones, but a lot of these have been really low entries that we've kept for ourselves. Like
Got it.
that portfolio of 10, we got that for 20 grand.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right now they are vacant, or what was the situation with that portfolio? It's a
So
big 10 houses in
yeah.
one deal.
So it was basically an investor who kind of got behind on payments, was in a tough spot, and just wanted to get rid of the portfolio. So we took over the payments. There were some big arrears in it, but the lender pushed the arrears to the back of the loans for the most part. But about 80% of them are tenant occupied. And then there's a couple vacant ones. So they have high interest rates though, because this guy's like a hard money guy, a local hard money guy. So the interest rates are like 9.5, 10%. They're still breaking even or cash flowing just a tad the way they are right now. But most of these tenants are month to month, so not a big deal for us. We can I think our main plan is because we just closed on this the end of December, so we're still figuring things out for each property. Um, regardless, oh, go ahead.
No, why you don't wrap it to the tenants? They don't have money, or
I think that's our plan. I think that's our plan. So we're probably going to DSCR out though, because these loans are weird. They're high interest rates with arms and balloons on them.
oh,
So
okay.
we'd have to DSCR out and then do a wrap. So I think that's what we'll do on a lot of these ones that aren't in the greatest of condition. All of them are pretty livable, but some aren't in great shape. So the ones that aren't in great shape, we'll probably rent to own those, seller finance them out, wrap them, and then the other ones we will. There's a couple that look good for flips, and then a couple that are right by Texas Tech that we'd want to keep and rent out to college students.
Okay, and where was these deals located?
These were in Lubbock, Texas.
Love Texas. Got it.
Lubbock has about a population of about 250,000. It's a decently large city. I think it's the 10th or 11th largest in Texas, but it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Like the closest major city to it is Dallas or Albuquerque, New Mexico, which are like 4 hours away. So it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. You do have Texas Tech though, which is a really big school that's in Lubbock. It's
Okay.
like the only thing in Lubbock though.
Yeah, I never heard about it. I heard about it, but I never, like, everyone that passed me a deal there. Like I don't like mid cities or small cities basically,
Yeah.
just because they are so tough to move. So I just focusing on like plus 750,000
Yeah.
population, or at
Yeah.
least near a metro. That's like the sweet spot.
Uh-huh.
Um, and how are you finding your buyers right now, doing all over the places, because
Yeah.
it's tough to find
So
buyers.
So we have investor lift cartel mode as well, like yourself. So that's good for all of our cash stuff. But for all our creative stuff, we've just been building out our own buyers list through the Facebook groups primarily. You know, if you have a good creative finance deal, you're not going to have any issue moving it if you post it in sub two. That's just a trend I've noticed. So for the buyer, of course, we want to do repeat business with previous buyers, but really building out our buyers list for creative finance deals has been done through sub two, and then cash, some Facebook groups, some buyers I've already had in my system for Texas stuff, and then investor lift.
Yeah, in sub two, if you have like 10% entry fee and low, a little bit of cash flow, you will sell it right away.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Um, but yeah, it's like a hamster wheel, because you start there posting and it's difficult to grow your buyer list as well right
Yeah,
there.
very true.
What CRM are you using right now?
We're using Follow Up Boss.
Follow up us. Okay.
Yeah, pretty nice CRM. I like it. It's my favorite one we've used so far. I've used Astro Blaster, REI Reply. Mojo's not really a CRM; it's more of a dialer. But I like Follow Up Boss the best so far from the other platforms I've used.
Yeah, Astrobla RER reply, it sucks on my end.
Uh,
I try them. It's super slow. It takes a ton of time to load, and they get blocked you fast as well. And it's the message are expensive compared to Go High Level. I use Go High Level.
yeah, Go High Level
So
is amazing. I've heard great things about it.
It's basically Astro Blaster is built on Go high level.
Yeah.
But when you are directly to them, it's like there is no people in the middle, so it works better.
No. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's texting. That's the only thing that I do. I do texting. We are trying to do. We start doing PPC like 2 weeks ago, but we didn't have so many luck
No.
on that. It just take time, and we are not
Yeah.
spending so much money either. So
So your main marketing is text blasting?
text blasting, yeah,
Nice, nice. And what do
that's
you
my
use?
own. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you use mainly for text blasting then? I know you have Go High Level. Are you doing the blasting through there or using other sites?
No, 100% Go high level.
Oh, okay. And how's that? Is that integrated with Twilio or what integration
Yeah,
does the blasting?
it's integrated with Trilio. Um, it's integrated with everything that we need, and then we integrated with some ManyChat as well.
Uh-huh.
So we didn't finish this yet, but the same people. I market only pre-foreclosures.
Okay.
So we have their emails as well of these people, the email and the phone number, and we are doing PPC or Facebook leads basically on only these people. We didn't start this yet, but that's another thing. That's why we put many chat as well. But Trilio is really good, basically.
Awesome. Yeah, I've done text blasting before. I don't think we did it at the volume though, where it was like, oh, this is really good. Because I know people that are killing it with text blasting. And when I hear you tell me you're making 30, 50, $100,000 assignments, me being used to doing a lot of the creative stuff, that's like, whoa, man, that's like 5+ deals for me right there. Um, that's why we've pivoted out of a lot of the creative to, or I should say the direct agent to direct to seller stuff. Because now we locked up innovation in Philly last week, where I think it's like a 50K plus spread for us. And we're not used to seeing numbers kind of that big for us. So I'm really excited for this year because now we're incorporating novations, doing more direct to seller. I'm a lot better closer, and my sales skills are a lot better than they were a year and a half ago. So I'm hoping we're going to start seeing fees like you're seeing of those 30K plusers.
I have those, and then I have those like 1,500 assignment fees.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have just a numbers game.
totally.
Like 15 deals out of one, they are going to be big ass assignment fees, and
Yeah,
you have to when you have a good team behind you, you know that they can stop foreclosures. Like the best deals that they came through, they came for stopping a foreclosure. Like right now, this deal, like we should be having like 55K assignment fee. It was because we stopped the foreclosure hour and a half ago before going to foreclose. So
yeah,
that's the good thing about it, having the right team and meeting with
awesome.
such people.
Yeah,
Collaboration over competition. Like crazy story. I have a deal. My main two markets, they are all Texas, big cities only, and we start doing Atlanta.
uh,
First deal that I have in Atlanta, the first one we have to do a loan mode. We didn't sell it yet because we are on the process of the loan mode because the arrears were like 100K.
oh,
So, but this one, it's a cash deal. It's a sweet deal. We look it up for 325. I sold it for 350, and the buyer backed out without put. He told me I put the EMD. We are going to use my title company. I just leave the EMD. This was Friday, right? He
yeah,
called me on Monday and he told me I'm backing out. No,
jeez,
on Tuesday I'm backing out. And at the same time, my one of my partner called me, my acquisition guy. I called me and he told me, "Yo, the buyer is trying to reach the seller out." And they went and talked with the seller saying that they can give more money and we are trying to wholesale the deal. And this is a collaboration. Like
yeah,
if you're collaborating with people like this guy, he was saying you're a bad person, you're making money from someone that is going to loot their house. And fuck it, all the people that we help on this business, we are having money, of course. We are getting some checks,
yeah,
but we are helping them out. If we don't help
totally.
them, they're like this. Just something that I would like to. say, because people that they are starting, they say they won the first deal and they don't give a shit if they kill you the deal and don't work never with you. I prefer to make a deal with you, make just 2K, and instead of going to the seller and make 10K, because I know that every time that I go and do a deal with you, it can be 100 deals for 2K. You have
Yeah.
200K instead of 10K.
Yeah.
So
Very true. Very true. Yeah, I like what you said there. Collaboration over competition for sure, because that's what our whole model is based around. Like a lot of our deals, at least what they used to be, not really right now because of the VA stuff, but a lot of it was JV partnerships where we had a lot of people who were doing cold calling for us, direct to agent or even direct to seller, whatever it was. And then they would bring leads to me and I would close them and then they would get paid. They're new wholesalers. They don't know exactly what they're doing. So I would show them the process. And then basically that's my free lead generation until I get paid. And then part of my check goes to them. So it really minimized our overhead and risk. And then also we're helping a lot of new people out. So that's kind of the model we're continuing to do as well too.
how did you learn these skills? Because it's difficult for people right now to hop into the business because they think that they need money, or
Yeah.
how,
Yeah.
how did you start?
So I started my original mentor, great guy. His name's Bryant. He got me into sub two. He really got me connected in the industry. He's been a land broker out here for over 15 years. He's had a wholesaling company for the last 3 years. And really, I was just on Bigger Pockets about a year and a half ago on the Bigger Pockets forum looking for a mentor to help guide me to buy a rental property, basically because I made a little bit of money in crypto. I was like, let me put this into a rental or something like that in the Midwest. And it was never my intention to get into wholesaling, but I met him on Bigger Pockets just by reaching out. And one thing, advice to anyone listening to this, there's so many people, man, that are so focused on the money and not the journey and the learning experience. Like there's so many people that reach out to me, Jack, I need at least 5 grand if I do this with you. And I'm like, you don't know what you're doing. Like, go do this yourself. Feel free. You're going to lose this deal and you're not going to make a dollar. Right. So for me, it was like, I worked for free for a long time, and not just in wholesaling, but just other things I've tried to want to learn and pick up too. Like, hey, I would go back and pay someone 20 grand to learn what I learned over, the course of time so far right now, probably much more than that. But that's one of the huge things. Like, don't be so focused on money, be focused on how can I provide value to someone that has way more knowledge than me and what can I learn from them in return. That's something that's huge. So I would say team up with someone that actually is doing deals, knows what they're doing, can provide value to you and really excel your growth and really cut down that learning curve. That's what's huge because I mean, YouTube is one of those things that drastically cuts down your learning curve. If you have the $10,000 to join sub two, that absolutely cut down your learning curve. Some people don't have that though. Some people want a quicker way to the finish line. And really the only way doing that is, hey, let me work super hard for somebody else, learn from them. And, in 2 months, they'd be in a completely different spot if they just put their head down and worked really hard.
That's how I learned the game basically
Yeah.
too. Like I learned the game working for others basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know shit about real estate, and when I started working for someone saying me, you can find a buyer like this, you can find a buyer like this. I was the disposition manager on their team, and I was closing deals like crazy, but the
Yeah.
checks were so little, like
Yeah.
$400, $500. Like I say, I need to start my own stuff. I'm more like us, like we are here for we are here for a marathon, right?
Yep.
This is not a sprint. We are here to make millions of millions, no like a few thousands and right away, right? So
100%.
that's something like I learn a lot. And do you think like there is so much value, no value, so much information in sub two beside YouTube?
Well, the thing is with sub two, just like any mentorship, right? If you
It's the
have people,
community.
yeah, yeah. Any mentorship, right? Someone's going to have money to put into it. So YouTube, way lower barrier of entry than sub two. You need 10 grand to be in it. So likely in sub two, you're going to have people that are taking it way more seriously. You're going to have funding partners, JV partners, people who are already in the business, and then also all the information and value provided in sub two It's all organized in easy places to find, and you have access to that networking community and all the Zooms and stuff. So I think Sub 2 is great. Um, if anyone has the money and is super serious about real estate, 100% joining it. It changed my life. I'm doing this full time now. I just finished college about a year ago, and I'm working for myself doing this full time. I think most of that going to just being involved in the Sub 2 community because we really scaled through DTA. Um, but at the same time, like if you're not a hustler, you're not hardworking. I see a lot of people that will join these programs and they think, okay, I'm going to pay 10 grand to join Sub 2 and I'm going to be a millionaire in like a week. And that's not the case. Like you really have to hustle for it and, put in the work. But um, in terms of YouTube, though, like I think YouTube, especially like Pace's channel and the lives he does there, I think there's so much value in that where you can literally probably maybe not gain all the info you would get within Sub 2 because of course you're lacking the network and the concrete structure of everything and everything else it offers, but you could literally become a successful wholesaler and learn everything you need from YouTube. It's just you're going to have to put in more work to do so.
Oh, 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Like it's a combination of the two things have two. Like it's a combination of the community and the research plus like the information. So
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
it's amazing. What would you say to someone that is trying to start on the business?
Yeah. So someone who has no experience in real estate or sales and wants to get started in wholesaling, I would tell them, so tough love is good. I've tried the route of being super nice and like pumping everyone up. And now it's like, I still do that. Don't get me wrong. But now it's like, hey, you know where I'm at if you need me. If you're about it, you're going to put in the work. And like, I really like helping people who double text me, who call me late at night, who are like, hey, Jack, I really want to learn this. Help me figure this out. Like, I want to do this. Those kind of people, I'm like, these people are about it. I really want to work super closely with them. Then I have other people who will just message me, hey, Jack, I really want to get into wholesaling. And then they talk to me once and then I don't hear from them ever again. That's probably 90% of people. Um, so if someone really wanted to get started, as long as they understand that this isn't like a get rich overnight quick thing, like a lot of social media stuff makes it out to be. Don't get me wrong, like I'm sure it's been life changing for you, the money you've been making and what you've built out here, but it was a journey for you, right? None of this happened in a week
Oh,
or overnight. So
definitely not.
yeah, yeah. So people understanding that, I'd say that's the first option. And once people realize that, then I would say trying to find a mentor or someone to work closely with who you can provide value to in exchange, learning everything about the business. That would be I'd say the biggest recommendation I'd have if you don't have much capital, is finding someone that you can put sweat equity in for a chance to earn money and also a chance to acquire the knowledge to do it yourself.
100%
Yeah,
agree with that.
yeah,
Yeah. And one thing is that you are learning a skill set that if you don't want to continue doing this, because I don't see myself wholesaling all my life, it's
yeah,
just a step to my next step to start doing bigger things, but you
yeah,
learn so many things on wholesaling as a business, as a problem solver, that is the best way to start if you are fucking broke. When I started, I was fucking broke.
yeah,
I think you as well, or like everyone that I know, like start wholesaling was broke
yeah,
or didn't have the money to buy a rental or didn't know how to. Right now, because wholesaling, we can buy houses without using our credit. I don't have credit. I don't have social security number. So my only way to buy a house is subject to.
yeah.
So when you start learning this, you have there are other tools that wholesaling give it to you that you can multiply to make more business as well.
Yeah, definitely. Because wholesaling, a lot of people say it's not even real estate. Obviously, it is, but people say it's a sales slash marketing company because essentially that's what you're doing. So
Yeah.
that's the way I view it too. And before, like 3 years ago, I was doing some work for a solar company and a recruiting company where I was running their TikTok ad campaigns. I was managing their social medias. I was hiring and recruiting. So a lot of what I'm doing now in terms of how we're building out a team model is I'm just copying and pasting funnels I learned from the recruiting side of things into our real estate model. And now I'm realizing one other thing I want to do in the future is I can totally build commission only sales teams for other companies and monetize that. And as our network grows, it's like, hey, I can be someone who's a connector for private money. We can build a TC team. Like we can do so many things. Like I don't want to be doing, like you said, wholesaling forever. I like it right now. It's awesome. But once it's built out and on autopilot, I'd like to be more hands off, still, own the company, be buying properties, but then also do other business ventures too. So it's great. Like you said, a lot of those skills can be transferred into a different industry or field.
People say that it's not real estate, but it's real estate because if
Yeah.
you don't know how to underwrite or you don't know how to comp a house, how the fuck are you going to sell the house, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you are in real estate, you are doing wholesaling. It's just
Yeah.
you are not buying the actual asset, but
Yeah.
it's a good stuff. Like I was seeing a ton of problems in sub two. Like all the people that I know, they want to buy and they have the money, but they don't have the wholesale deals. They don't have
Yeah.
the deals. They don't have the flow of the deals to underwrite. They barely know how to underwrite because they saw
Yeah.
3 deals that they are cracked in Facebook, or they talk with a few agents and the agents they don't know nothing about it. So that's what I like about wholesaling because if you find someone like right now I'm partnering on a house, a pad split that we are running in San Antonio. That we bought a subject to super low entry. It was 3.2% interest rate. It will cash flow like $2,000 a month.
Oh, wow.
I didn't put a dime of my own money. I just bring the deal. I didn't make money on the deal. I'm going to own 50% of the house just because I present to a private money lender that it was lacking of deals basically. So that's what we have basically. We have that advantage of other people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's something I really want to start doing more of too, where hey, I can present good deals to people, and then if we've already done 5 wholesales this month and we made 40, 50K, I'm comfortable with that. Okay, let me just keep one of these and I don't even have to come out of pocket for it. Let me bring in a partner who funds it and he gets 50% equity. So that's stuff that we really want to explore and start doing too with pad splits in Section 8. It's a little harder for long-term rentals because the cash on cash return probably won't be there for that funding partner. But if you have some sort of other lucrative strategy, it could be super, super advantageous.
Yeah, that's one thing that I'm trying to do more Section 8s because right now we have a few Airbnbs that they are running good, but the maybe you have a month that you cash flow like 6-7 grand, and the
Yeah,
next you're negative like 1,000. So it's
yeah,
like I want something that I don't have to be stressed on the cash flow that I will be receiving every month. When you have a Section 8, it's like more easy
yeah.
to have it.
Very true. Very true.
So, do you want to tell something to people? We wrap it out so we don't take all of your day.
Yeah, totally. Just a little outro. Well, no, I appreciate you for having me here. I really liked having this conversation
Absolutely,
with
bro.
you and hearing more about your story as well. But I'm pretty active on Facebook. I'm trying to explore and go out into different ventures. I'm just starting to post on TikTok recently too. So I want to scale that up. I've had some other pages with decent followings on there. So I kind of just transferred one of those into now a wholesaling page. So hopefully that brings in more volume and potential inbound stuff. So if anyone wants to get connected with me, I don't know. Am I allowed to shout stuff out on here?
Of
Uh,
course.
okay, yeah. So if anyone wants to get connected with me, Jack Lander, just my name on Facebook is a great place to reach out to me. Also to Instagram, JCKLNDR, and then that's the same on TikTok as well, except with the Jack Lander in front of that. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now, hoping to kind of start doing more things. And we also have our company is Blueprint Real Estate. So our YouTube's Blueprint. And we post a lot of our Zooms on there and are ideally wanting to start going to some of these properties we're buying and kind of filming some in person content as well.
Amazing, bro. Appreciate you to be being here. One thing that I want to say to everyone: just chase the dream.
Yeah,
Don't give afraid to fuck it. Just make the things that you don't want to be doing right now. Chase the dream, and you can do it. So see you guys next episode. Thank you very much for being here, Jake. You kill it. Thank you very much.
appreciate you. Thank you.